Hello, welcome back to Nimi's Garden. I don't remember in the original series how I usually start out these videos. Do I start in the pack itself or do I start on this title screen? But either way, I think for this series I'm going to start on the title screen. So yeah, we're going to continue with Nimi's Garden today. Nimi's Garden Deluxe to be specific. Yeah, we're going to go to World 2 this episode. We'll see how much we can finish in this episode. Hopefully we can finish the entire world, but we might not be able to, so oh well. We'll figure it out when we get to the end of the episode. Alright, so the laboratory. I'm not sure how much changed here either. I don't think much changed. I think the level layout does seem to be a bit different, so that's cool. Anyway, remote control. This is the world where we learn about, I think, Alive and Vessel. Also, the music is a different version of the base Baba music. We have Vessel, which, if you know, it makes a character controllable, but it prevents them from winning or being defeated. So basically what I would like to do in this case is simply, jeez. I want to walk the robot over to the other side across the tar using Vessel. So I'm basically controlling multiple characters here. I'll use this thing to hook the robot in place. And now by making robot as you, robot becomes a controllable character and the robot can win. There you go. So easy level so far, basically just showcasing the standard property of the word vessel. Organism. So this time we have alive. So the amoeba is push. Amoeba's alive basically gives you all the U properties without movement. So right now, if I made virus's defeat, the amoeba would die on it. It's pronounced amoeba, by the way. I think... if I remember right, Isley pronounces it amoeba or something like that. I don't know. Either way, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced amoeba. Alright, so what I should do here is... Well, I can't do that. A flag is defeated at the moment, but I can put the flag I can put the flag in there. Sorry, the amoeba in there and get it past the virus. Of course, while I can't push it while it's in here, the text itself can do so. And so by pushing amoeba in, I can basically use the amoeba to win. There you go. Alright, it's level 3. Unboxing. Alright, I think this level is basically identical as well. Box as vial is win. We need to destroy the box. And basically, the only way to do so is cause a defeat to occur. You can see Nimi's vessel down there, so Nimi actually won't be defeated either. Nimi can't destroy anything. Or Nimi can't be destroyed by anything. Because Nimi's vessel. This will be a bit important later on, but at the moment it doesn't really matter. Vessel works perfectly the same as a U text. Anyway, we want to destroy the box, and the only way to do so is with a defeat alive interaction. But of course, I need to have stacked them first. Now I need to defeat the box by causing the box to act alive while the scissors defeat. That creates a vial, which is win. Now, of course, I can't actually win, so this is where the vessel thing becomes important. Because I'm vessel, I can't win on the vial, but the scissors can if the scissors were alive. There you go. Good stuff. Okay, level 4. Tar Pit. Here we have Tar Pit. Tar is defeat, but Robot is vessel, so Robot can stand on the tar. Nimi, however, is alive, which will prevent Nimi from standing on tar. I will note that Alive plus Vessel, if both are put together, gives you the exact U properties. So it gives you movement properties as well as the winning on win and dying on defeat properties. So yeah, it basically just gives you the U thing. Anyway, similar to how U works, I can use Nimi text over here to sort of shuffle this text vertically. And because of that, I can shift this in. I think it's important because I want to make the statement flag is vessel. That of course won't win because flag being vessel will not actually... Oh, yeah, flag doesn't have any of the U properties. Flag only has movement. However, interestingly enough, by making the robot have a U property, I can send on the robot and I will win, but the robot will be the one winning, although it, will have no difference. So it will look like I win on the robot, where in reality the robot wins on me. So that's funny, I guess. Yeah, anyway. There you go. Level 5. No loss. Ah, new word, I think. Stable, yes, okay. Hover. Ooh, this is a new thing here. So I can hover over the amoeba to show that amoeba is amoeba. There's a statement here. And that's what stable does. The stable basically retains all properties even when they are broken. So for example, if Nimi is stable and Nimi is U, the Nimi is U statement will be held by the stable statement. So by breaking the Nimi is U statement, I still retain Nimi is U because Nimi is stable, keeping that statement. Now of course that means I will still defeat on tar, but I cannot make amoeba be U. And as a result, I can break tar's defeat, and therefore get win out. With that, I can basically make Nimi's win. But of course, I think I need to make sure I don't do this, because by doing this, I've broken Nimi is stable and I basically lost the Nimi is U statement from a long time ago. So I need to reform Nimi is U, and then make Nimi is win. There's another way to do this, but it actually will not work. It will seem to work, but it won't. This statement will not work. It's pretty surprising, I think, if you just figure this out on your own. It's because Nimi is stable also prevents you from gaining properties, which you eventually see in another level. So right now it's something you can demonstrate, but it's not something that is necessarily relevant in the level. Okay, level 6, no gain. The corollary to no loss. This is where we'll learn about that property, where, for example, if I made flag is stable, it has no properties currently. Adding flag is float won't create any new properties. And I want to use that fact. So, I can, for example, make Nimi's float first, and then flag is win. Of course, I can't win because I'm float. However, if I made flag float and then stable, it retains the properties of win and float. Now, this would not have happened if I had simply done this, because while you have the float property, you won't have the win property. And so I can float over and we can stack on the same level. Flag is win won't actually do anything because flag did not gain the win property. Flag is stable prevented that. Which is why this action of first going over while float and then making flag is float and stable and then going over while stable is the only way to win, because only at this point does flag have both the float and win property. There you go. Okay. Level 7. Pivot. Are we using the bending text again? Yes, we are. Ooh. So, introduction of a mechanic from a previous world. I really like this kind of thing, where rather than a world containing only its specific type of text, you start introducing other things really early on. This is really cool. So, we need to find out somehow how to get this statement to go all the way to Nimi's win here, and probably Nimi's U as well. And I can't just break this because that completely breaks both statements. But I can do this sort of thing. So Nimi's U is retained because Nimi is stable, and as a result I can make Nimi's float. But I cannot because Nimi is stable. So once again, I cannot actually gain any properties as a result. Instead, I'll need to replace stable with U. Now that I'm no longer stable, I can gain the property of float, and I'll get through. Okay. So now that I'm back, I have basically Nimi, I have stable, I have a lot of stuff. It looks like I might be able to perform some interesting things here. So Nimi is stable and Nimi is U allows me to make this statement horizontally. Cool thing is that this will not kill me, because once again, being stable... Oh, what? I'm 2 times that. Firstly, being stable means I will not gain the defeat property. But why is it that I'm 2 times Nimi's U? Ah, because Nimi is you can be passed in two different ways. So one is the vertical text, one is the bent sentence. So by making Nimi stable, Nimi is you will be preserved twice. Anyway, this property of Nimi is stable, negating Nimi's defeat is useful. However, this does not work here because I want me to gain the property of win. So what I'll do is after crossing this, I break Nimi stable by putting you back in place. And that will allow me to win. Okay, good stuff. Level 8, reverse engineering. Very thematic for a lab level. Ooh, this one's cool. I think I've seen this before. I've definitely played this before. Is not win and sync here. We want is win here. And then I presume not beaker is stable. Is that just going to win for us? By syncing all the remaining text. Flag is win. Yeah, this should just win. Okay, what was the red herring here? There was a red herring. I think we wanted beaker is not sync to be a possible statement. Yeah, beaker is not sync. However, because beaker is stable, beaker is not sync is actually not a gained property. So beaker still becomes sync. So that's an interesting little gimmick. Not properties no longer work when you're stable. Once again, because you don't gain properties, you also don't gain their negated forms. Not beaker is stable, doesn't do anything. Beaker is still sync at this point because of this statement. So yeah, I guess the only real way to do this is by making flags win first. And then not beaker is stable. And then syncing everything. This makes sync kind of a red herring piece of text because it's never used for its intended purpose. It's just used as a piece of text to sync, I guess. Cool. That was a pretty random level. I think it's very easy to accidentally stumble into that as well. Is that extra really an extra? Or is it not? I don't know. We get 2 levels after this. Well, hold on. Something's a little amiss here. Yeah, we're missing a world, aren't we? No, that's the one. Wait, is it? We're missing world 4 somewhere. This is world 5. No, this is world 4? Because I swear world 4 did not used to be this one. World 4 used to be something else. It used to be the Magic Land, but I don't know where that is. Is it here? Is that here? I've already forgotten. I know this is garden. This is fall. This is the fortress area. This is the mines. This is the rusty area. This one I don't remember. This one I don't remember. I think this might be the... No, this is the... Okay, this is not anything that we will see in a while. I think that makes this one actually World 4, but in this case, not World 4 because this is World 4. Okay. I'll go check back on the original series and see what actually went on there. Because I know in the original game, I actually went to World 4 before entering World 3, and then there was a whole weird bunch of stuff happening. Anyway, backwards thinking. Let's quickly do this extra. So yeah, this one is somewhat an extra because it uses the not property as well, the not text, along with stable. So a lot of text here. This was never actually resolved. I guess the author decided it would be fine to keep it this way. This is kind of awkward, but I don't think there was any other way to make this work out. Beaker on vial is win. We'll realize that if the scissors ever syncs text. So for example, if like I made not skull is sync, the scissors, which actually doesn't appear anywhere else. So this appears to exactly break. Like the scissors is purely to prevent me from making not something is sync. Because it just breaks the win statement completely. Okay. We want... Tar is sync at the moment. So if I made something like not skull is stable, the tar will be stabled. No, but why would I want that? I don't know. I think there really is no way to make you not sync. Because I don't have tar is not sync anywhere. I can't create that statement or any equivalent. So I have to sync 3 pieces of text. I have to get the vial. Skull is defeat. So I can first start by sinking something using Skull as sink. Okay, so what about Beaker is push and then Beaker is stable? Oops, no, do not create a skull. This causes Beaker to retain its property. We will need to step on the Beaker eventually though. However, I will note that this will break its stability because not Beaker is stable no longer applies to the Beaker. So while it's pushed now, doing this will make it no longer push. At this point, it is still possible to step on a Beaker. So that's good. We can try for this. Now I need to make Skull as sink and sink something. Probably it's going to be the push text because I don't see any use for it anymore. And now I basically sink a bunch of text. I need to make sure I retain the not text though. Because as I said before, the only way to step on the Beaker at this point is to make not Beaker is stable. And there you go. Cool. Okay, level 9. Midnight Snack, the final delicacy. When did this show up? Okay, clues reveal. I see. So right now, robot is push. Skull? Where did skull come from? I can push you in here, and I'm actually basically forced to do that to leave. So you're stuck there. Nimi without robot is defeat. So if robot were gone, I would be defeat. Well, I'm vessel anyway, so it's fine. Flag is win. Now, I can do something without flag is win. And that will allow a statement to be true. Right now, flag is win is completely negated by this statement, and I don't see any way of breaking that. So I must use this infix to make a new statement. I think. Yeah. Which means I need to get rid of the flag. Seems like flag is alive would work, and then robot is defeat. If I got rid of the flag by making Nimi's defeat first. Because Nimi is vessel, this won't kill Nimi. But I won't win either. Which is fine, I can make myself alive to win. There you go. Alright. Real simple stuff there, but of course we're going for the clue, so let's do that. Clue, okay. So the clue involves getting rid of the robot. I feel like I can do the exact same thing as what I did with the flag. So robot is alive and Nimi is defeat. No, but robot is pushed, so I can't stand on the robot. And I can't make robot alive and defeat at the same time because I don't have enough text to do so. Well, robot without Nimi is vessel is a statement I can make. The area up here is exactly 5 tiles long, so I feel like this is intended. What that means is that this statement needs to occur at the same time as me going away. And I think I can do that easily, right? By making Nimi is alive and defeat at the same time. So by pushing up here, I basically create 2 statements at once. Robot without Nimi is vessel, and Nimi is defeat. Nimi is defeat plus Nimi is alive will kill Nimi, and because Nimi will no longer be here, robot will become vessel. Yeah, there you go. So I can reveal the clue. Once again, I should probably screenshot this. I forgot if I took a picture on my phone or if I screenshot it. I did not take a picture on my phone, so I guess I screenshot it. There you go. Clues reveal. There's also no way to win at this point, I'm fairly certain. And that is true because the without had to have been here, and now it's completely unretrievable. So once again, a revealing of a clue prevents me from winning. I wonder if that alludes to anything. Anyway, regrowth. Regrowth? Okay, we've seen this before. I think the level is completely unchanged here. Amoeba has vial, is beaker, is amoeba. So destroying the amoeba. So let's say I made the scissors push. I can destroy the amoeba by making scissors is defeat and amoeba is alive. We'll see what the effects of that are. So that defeats the amoeba. Amoeba becomes a vial because it has one. The vial transforms into a beaker and then back into an amoeba. which immediately dies upon transformation. And will this let me pass through? No, this will actually melt me because the amoeba did exist at some point here. Oh no, the scissors defeat, that's why. Okay. So the scissors also got rid of me, but I think I saw some smoke there, which implied I got melted even before the defeat. Fascinating. Now, if I could get the scissors to move, I think that would be nice as well. And that is because what I would like to do at this point is the scissors need to have some effect on the amoeba. But at the same time, the amoeba... Sorry, I have to get past the scissors. So I have to make this sort of thing. Yeah, so the scissors moves. As it touches the amoeba, it destroys it. The amoeba goes back. But if I can tailgate the scissors just by following it, I think I can follow in without actually being destroyed. Yeah, okay. That should just be it, right? And I just need to continue tailgating. There you go. And now I simply make scissors win without it being defeat. Okay, I think that was fairly obvious. Probably that was the only purpose the move text was there, so that one would have been fairly obvious. That one actually counts as a fairly easy puzzle, I would say. Anyway, rapid mitosis. Yeah, this level was also completely unchanged. I think this level, like this world in general, it was completely unchanged. Okay, so amoeba is more and stop. So basically amoeba starts growing around and then it does this. I can probably plug the gap, or plug the hole by doing that. And I can do this sort of thing. I need the amoeba to be alive and defeat at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll replace you with normal text so I can get bending text out. This will destroy the amoeba, but of course the amoeba will just keep growing. As you can see here, the defeats are like spreading all around. Defeat particles. So I need the virus to go away because the virus is the one that's making the amoeba. So the virus needs to be defeated and alive. Okay, well then I have an idea, because I no longer need the amoeba text, I think. Let's try and use the amoeba text to plug the gap. Good enough. Okay, well, in that case... I can easily make the virus defeat and alive. That gets rid of the virus. And the amoeba text is right there, so I can also do the exact same thing with the amoeba. And the problem is all gone. So now all I need to do is make flags win. Of course, there's a big problem, which is that I need to also be alive. So let's put the bending text back. So I'm both alive and vessel. And then make flags win. That should be it. Cool. I don't think I derived that solution in the original series. Pretty sure I did something different. But that was, I think, the cleaner one of the two solutions that I have obtained from this puzzle so far. Alright, it's level 12. Mech suit. Okay, this one is somewhat new. I think we've seen this premise before, but the level got changed because I think a bunch of stuff was unnecessary. So yeah, in particular, the move text used to be out in the open, but now robot is move, and that's the only thing that can be moved. So robot is move, Nimi is you, pipe is stop. We have an idle blank blank stable, so obviously idle something is stable is necessary here. You can also make stable vertical, I'm not sure if I really want that. And we have two robot is Nimi texts. So, you know, if you've played Baba Is You long enough, it really seems like the obvious solution here is to turn into a robot, walk over here, and then unturn yourself into a robot. Now, idle blank is stable will help with that. Meaning that while I am idle, that is not moving, holding and waiting and pressing space, I am going to gain the stable property. Now, if I did, for example, idle robot is stable, and then robot is Nimi, and then Nimi is robot, for example, I will turn it into a robot. But of course, if I idle, because robot is stable, the robot is Nimi text stays, okay. Yeah, but I can't do anything here. Hold on. Alright, yeah, this puzzle gave me a bit of trouble last episode, so last time, so I'm gonna have to do the exact same thing here. Same thing meaning I'm gonna be in trouble again. So, we have a couple options here. Either I idle myself all the way until I cross, and then I unidle to become a moving object again. Or I don't idle until I cross, and then I idle at this point to become a U object. And both I think are valid at the moment. So how will I do this? Let's presume that we start with the first option, where I idle and I walk all the way across until I unidle and then I turn back into Nimi. In that case, what needs to be stable when I'm idling? Robot should be stable when I idle, I think. Because I will be a robot while I'm idle. So, you know, idle robot is stable is the only relevant statement. Idle Nimi is stable won't matter because I'm idling as a robot, so Nimi won't even be on screen. So if that were the case, idle robot is stable is a necessary statement. What else is necessary? Well, Nimi is robot is necessary. Robot is Nimi has to be a new statement that does not exist yet. Until robot is stable. So robot is Nimi will be a text that exists, but because robot is stable, it won't gain that property until I unidle. Yeah, so I can't make it first. I have to make it after becoming the robot, after the robot is stable, and after becoming the robot. So for example, if I did this, no, I need to do it the other way. No, I need to make the statement a little bit delayed. So robot is move and then this will happen. I'm out of space. So this works when I unidle by moving around, I become Nimi again. But of course, that can't happen here because I ran out of space. I'll just die. Okay. Let's try the other option, where I unidle until I'm here, then I idle. In which case, Nimi has to be the one that's... No, but that wouldn't work, right? Because if I unidle myself, I just need to cross this as a robot. I need to cross this as a robot. And then when I'm here, the robot turns into a Nimi. Either way, the robot will be present when the idleness of my character changes. So when I change from being unidle to being idle, or when I do it the other way around, only robot will be on screen because the robot is the one moving across the tar. That means that robot is always stable, but the method of crossing is unknown. So I could try to make the unidle self walk past here. So idle robot is stable. Unidling makes me not stable. Well, then that's not gonna work because I need to be stable until here. So I need to idle until here. Oh. Well, in that case, we've basically reached all possible outcomes and only one works. So why not... Actually, why not this? Why not do it the other way around? That should give me enough space, right? Yeah. Why don't I do that? So what happened here is I became robot. Because I idled, robot doesn't become Nimi because robot is stable. Robot walks all the way here, and while I am no longer idling, I become Nimi again. That should just win. Yeah. I don't know why that caused me so much trouble. I already had the solution, I just did it in the wrong direction. I guess maybe realizing you could do it in the other direction was the big problem. Right, stack. Oh, this one's interesting. I've seen this concept before. In fact, I've made a puzzle based on this concept. The puzzle is basically the exact same, nothing has changed since the previous version. So yeah, we have a belt being shifted here, so I'm basically locked in once I'm entering this area. I need to have basically 2 open objects, and then I'll win. Door stop and shut, so I need to have 2 keys I push open. But of course, you'll see the big problem is that I can only push in 1 object. If I had 2 objects... So, let's just try. If I had 2 objects, for example, I had 2 keys, and then I made this happen. With 2 separate objects, I can't actually enter because these 2 objects will block my way. So I'm gonna have to do something called a stack, as the level suggests. The box is sync and still, but I can push the box around. Oh no, it's still, oh, right. Right now, the only thing box can really be is stable or key. Stable is kind of pointless. The box doesn't have any properties I can add or remove anyway. So that's pointless. Its transition to a key is the most important thing I can do right now. And of course, I can stack them by having the push property occur to only 1 key. I don't know how easy it is to come to that conclusion, where you'll need 1 key to be pushed and 1 to not be pushed. The level title suddenly gives you a hint, and I think that hint is greatly needed. If you have no idea what this property or what this mechanic is, it's going to be pretty hard for you to get to the answer. Although in my defense, or in this game's defense, other games with interestingly obscure mechanics, like Being and Nothingness, the first one that comes to mind is Being and Nothingness, they also don't really give you a hint until you try it out for yourself. That will make a puzzle really hard though. So I'm just going to go into a quick tangent here. In the game Being and Nothingness, there is this creature called a Kuriyama Aikinger creature. I'm not sure if by the point this releases, you would have seen the Aikinger creature yet in my other playthrough. But either way, I think you would have actually. Anyway, this creature has some really obscure mechanics. And the reason why is because its interactions with other creatures are not explored at the very beginning of the world. It is slowly introduced to you, just because there are so many possible interactions. The game can't possibly introduce you to all possible interactions at the start of the world. You will slowly be introduced to them one by one. But what that can mean is that even very late into the world, the game can still be throwing new mechanics at you. And this is one of the levels that basically does the same thing. At this point, this is a mechanic that has never been seen before, and it is already very late into the world, and yet the level still wants you to learn about something new. Anyway, if you want to learn how this works, you basically start by having a push object be stable. So have an object be push and then stable. I'll put it in this exact column, you'll see why later. This object is now push and stable, meaning if I got rid of the push object, this is still a push object. However, anything that becomes a key no longer is push. It never was push to begin with. So this has no properties, whereas this is push. So that allows for a stack. And now by making key push, I've basically put 2 keys on top of each other. I can bring them both in together. With keys open, allows you to open 2 doors with seemingly 1 key. That was really cool, but I really wonder how long it would take someone who has never seen the mechanic before to figure that out. Alright, level 14, Pluck. Alright, again, no change in the previous version of the puzzle. I'll quickly go through this. This is another idle level. Amoeba right here basically causes this guy to become the literal text they put in there. And it only works for nouns and properties, it does not work for prefixes and verbs. The beaker sinks vial. Sinks is a World 1 mechanic where basically only the beaker on the vial causes a sinking effect. We want to push the beaker out so that it stacks on the vial, sinks it, and then the vial produces a flag. And what that means is that I need to enter and then idle or do something that changes this property so the beaker becomes stable. So right now, Amoeba can only write something. It basically has no other ability. I can't move it or anything. Okay. The beaker... I think the beaker is facing up. Yeah, the beaker is facing vertically, so auto doesn't do anything. It doesn't change its horizontal position. Now, beaker is push is only something I want to happen later on. And I want that to occur at the same time as push. So I, logically, would need another beaker text. I want beaker to be stable first. And then beaker to be push. In this way, breaking stable causes you to be push. But right now you are not push at all. So in here, I need to idle, make some difference, and then you'll no longer be stable. So that's what the idle is for. In this case, I'm pretty sure that the other way around has to be the case here. So it has to be idle beaker is stable. So that beaker is only stable when I'm idle. Then when I'm entering, I can unidle, then move out. Nimi has to be auto though. Wait, hold on. I only have one is. How do I do this? I swear I knew how to do this before. I want to enter here without moving. I want to idle myself while I enter here, which means I need to be auto entering. I think idle Nimi is auto is actually useful here. Right? Idle Nimi is auto here will be useful because I could enter here, then idle my way out. But this implies that the idling will cause you to become push. Which is difficult because idle beaker is stable is the opposite of what I want. I want beaker to be stable when I'm not idle. Also, if idle is here, then I basically can't make idle beaker stable afterwards. Do I need two stables? I don't think so. Oh wow, this is tougher than I thought. I feel like I've gotten this before. I have gotten this before, but somehow I'm just not getting this one. So, okay, let's think about this logically again. I need to enter while idling, then not idle. My not idleness causes you to unstable. Okay, so something like this, for example. like this, and and then I stop idling, and then I can push you out. But you have to start with beaker is push and then beaker is stable. Hold on again. So I need to start with, I don't think this is right. No, I need idle Nimi is auto and also idle beaker is push. Yeah. So yes, okay, I think I got it. I think I got it. It's idle beaker is push, and then beaker is stable. This maintains this statement. Idle beaker is push. So I can now break this statement completely. And now I can make idle Nimi is auto. So this creates the two idle statements that I need. By idling, the beaker is push and I am also moving. So that causes this to happen. There you go. Beaker is out. By pushing the beaker in, I can sink the vial. Vial becomes flag, and there you go. Alright, that took a while. Sorry if I kind of choked there a little bit. Alright, and the final level in this world, I believe there is still nothing different about this one. Yep, still nothing different. Alright, lonely. So, level called Unstable Combination. The beaker is win, but Vial is vessel and Vial is defeat. Vial cannot be alive because it would just die. And Vial being vessel can't win on the beaker. Similarly, lonely Vial is defeat won't work. Because while I can technically win on the beaker while being alive, I have to first be alone and then walk there myself, which is not possible. Unless I use some stable mechanic. So by the way, this is the only level in this world that combines these two mechanics. But I think either way it is quite impressive that a level has both stable and alive vessel at the same time. Very, very cool. I think if you've just seen this level, you already get the suspicion that lonely Vial is stable becomes a necessary statement here. But that actually will work because by removing this, I can move around. I can also make myself alive, and this is completely fine. So here, lonely Vial is stable, will break once I step on the beaker. This will cause me to lose my vesselness, and then I'll become alive. Cool. That technically would win except for the fact that I'm still defeat. I need to break the defeat statement. And so, I think I'm going to need a vertical, because I need lonely Vial is defeat. So that when I stand here, Vial is no longer lonely, is no longer defeat. I need this statement to be vertical. And this statement can only be vertical if the original statement was horizontal. Then I can make a cross like this. There you go. Now I can make the alive text. Once again, alive won't take place because I'm still stable. However, upon standing here, I will be alive, I won't be defeat, and so I'll win. There you go. This one is pretty trippy to understand. In fact, a lot of the stable levels are actually pretty trippy to understand, especially the ones with conditions. So, for example, Pluck having the idle condition, Mech Suit having the idle condition, and then level 15, which is Unstable Combination, having the lonely condition. All of them, all of them have conditions, they have stable, and so all of them are really trippy to understand. Hopefully I explained all of them well enough. So yeah, there you go. That's World 2 done. I think we can call it an episode here. Next episode we'll move on to World 3, and then we'll see where World 5 is, I guess. I think World 3 leads us to this world. Yeah. Alright, that's gonna be it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Bye bye.